Warning, the views expressed on this show are not those of Disneyland or any of its affiliated companies. This is a talk show that does not represent any single other organization or club. These are idiots talking about stupid shit. If you're under the age of 18, tune the hell out.
Hello there. So you found your way to Underland.
If I were looking for a white rabbit, I'd ask the man Adam.
Really, I didn't think that.
But that's the point. If you don't think, you shouldn't talk.
Down the rabbit hole with idiots.
Well, hello, everyone.
What up?
All right. Jack, are you recording this?
Yes.
Hold on.
And now.
With your mic off? Jack's mic's
My
off.
mic's on. I'm muted.
Yeah, I didn't know I had you actually turned extremely far down because last show you were talking too much or something. I don't remember. Hey, you were supposed to show up at the fair yesterday. We sent out event invites, and I saw
you
on
said
there
that you were going to
I
go.
saw on there that Jacqueline Mathis said that he was going to the fair. We got your cousin Stan.
My whole name.
Oops.
And there it is.
So, what I did
Oopsie.
was, you know how, like, if you see something's popular, everyone goes? So I said, yes, I would go to encourage more people to go.
That's my line. That's what I do. Where
So
I
you-
say I'm going to go to the event because to make it appear like everybody's going, just so everybody goes.
Yeah.
But
So you thought because
whatever.
you went, everyone else would go?
I didn't mean it that egotistical. I was just literally,
sure.
I was one of all of the people that were going. So it just was like, instead of it being like, 37 people went, it looked like 38 were going.
So basically, Stan showed up because thinking you were going to show up and you fucked him.
Yeah.
Good job.
Basically.
Well, and that only works if you show up, though, brother, because then, like, people will be like, oh, yeah, I came, and you weren't there. So next time when you put the, hey, I'm going to be there.
Well, it's because I outed myself. I could have said I was there.
all right, whatever. You didn't go. That's the bottom line. Why didn't you go?
I how often do you see me outside of the studio?
Not at all.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So, anyways,
So
who's here?
just an FYI, if Jack ever says he's going, he's not going.
Yes.
So that
love
just
you,
means
Jack.
you can't ever count on Jack.
Who all's here
I
today?
always count on Jack. I
Who
got
all's here
Jack's
today? I'm Jake.
Tom's here.
Missy's here.
back. Brandon.
What?
Brandon.
Yeah,
What?
apparently.
I want a refund on this black man.
Like, I know I always get to
Look.
sit next to a black man, and I know you say you're black, but
Yeah, I'm
you're not
trans
black.
black.
No, you're not.
I was on a time crunch, guys.
So we have the fake black man on.
So you're basically, you think just because you're the trans black male that you were Steph's stand-in body double?
No.
No.
I think that, no, Steph's a cool guy. I just, he's running a little late, so I figured that, you guys.
How high are you right now? Your eyes
I'm
aren't
pretty
even.
fucking lit right now, honestly.
So
Are
Jake,
your eyes even open?
Jake, for the
I can
next
see you.
20 minutes, do not use the N-word in any facet.
Yeah, because we don't have the.
we're out of the safe
We don't
zone.
have the parachute. Anyways, okay. So we have to get to somebody that's in. Where is it? Ohio.
Yes, he's in Ohio.
And so the
Coach
guy's on a.
Dave.
The guy's on a 3-hour time difference, so it's
Right.
already 8, 9, 10. Oh, it's 11 o'clock there, right?
Right.
And the guy does like a 7 a.m. morning show,
Yes, Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday,
Right.
And it's the name of his show is what? Pass the Salt with Coach Dave.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And who is Coach Dave, Brandon?
Coach Dave's an interesting guy. He went up against the ACLU back in the 90s whenever he was, I believe, a high school coach. And he had required, I believe, the people in his team to pray. And the ACLU felt that was a violation of their civil liberties. And,
So back in the 90s,
Right,
he was a football coach, high school football coach.
right.
And he went against the ACLU because he would force all of his players to pray before games.
Right.
And the ACLU said, no go on that.
Right. In public schools, you can't force people to pray in a public school.
And that's when he was a high school football coach.
Right.
Now, since then, he's ran for Congress.
Right. In 2010.
In 2010, he ran for Congress. Did he go as Coach Dave on the ballot?
You can. You have the option of putting your employment or your.
Okay, that didn't require a real response. That was just me being sarcastic. Okay, so Coach Dave,
Sorry,
he's
I'm
ran.
stoned.
I know you are. So Coach Dave has ran for Congress.
Right.
He has a morning radio show in Ohio,
Right.
and he's got some notoriety lately because of what?
Apparently, he believes that masturbation makes you gay.
Oh shit.
But what we want to talk about today is how America is a Christian nation.
That's what he wants to talk about?
Well, yeah, that was pretty much the emails that we. But he said he's down to take some heat.
He's down to take some heat.
Yeah.
Masturbation makes you gay. See, a fundamental.
What the fuck is that?
That's Jack fucking up our show. It's getting ready to take off. I'm waiting for it.
He's gone.
Really?
Okay. All right.
All right.
So what is that echo, Jack?
I fucked up.
Oh, okay, you fucked up. Okay. Hey, you can't use swear words, Jack.
Sorry.
This is a conservative talk show, Jack.
Brandon,
What?
Right.
get the fuck out. Our black guy's here.
Rock on.
Yeah, we got the real guy back in.
I
Hey,
was the temporary
Steph,
black
we
guy
had
until you-
we had a trans black guy sitting in your chair for a while since you were running late, but it just was not working. The chemistry wasn't there. The only thing that he had in common was just squinty eyes from doing whatever he was doing.
Hey.
Okay.
Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. The show is going nowhere. We've already lost all of our listeners, and we're just kind of
Just
cruising.
another Tuesday then, huh?
Yeah, just another Tuesday. But so, anyways, we're going to have Coach Dave on the phone. Steph, are you familiar with Coach Dave?
Yeah. I watched the link that you posted earlier.
Okay, well, you came from a conservative home, right? Steph, you were
Fairly.
It was like what was it? What kind of denomination was it that you came from?
Baptist.
Baptist, stereotypically. So you came from a Baptist church, and your family was really strict as far as you went to church every Sunday, no matter what. There
Every
was no
Sunday.
excuse, no nothing. You went
No
to church.
ifs, ands, or buts.
Did the minister ever say that if you masturbated? Well, see, the thing is coming from that. Hold on, coming up from that conservative background, yours very similar to mine. Mm-hmm. That masturbation as a whole was a no-no.
Yes.
Now I don't know where it jumped the line and said that it was gay.
Yeah, I never heard that.
Well, I think
Which is also a no-no.
well also a no.
Baptist
There's a lot
church.
of no-nos.
Like a double negative.
But what I think it is I think
Don't
is
they cancel each other out?
Two negatives make a
Positive,
yeah,
right?
two negatives make a positive.
Yeah.
But I don't think Pastor Dave. I don't think he meant that from like a biblical perspective. I think that was just a matter of opinion. Because Tom, we could go down this train of logic and say that if
Logically, what he's saying is true.
hold
It makes sense.
on. What he's saying it makes sense because if you're a man
Yep.
grabbing your penis,
You are technically
having
having sex in
With
some
a man.
way with a man, yeah.
right. So that would make you
Gay.
gay.
Even though it's yourself?
Yeah.
Gay for
Is
yourself.
your hand a female or is it a male?
Well, you could name it a female.
But anyway, but that's not. I don't think that's Coach Dave's whole premise. Coach Dave, I watched some of his podcasts, and I watched some of his links that he had that went to YouTube and some videos. And he's just a conservative minister guy that happened to take a lot of heat because he said this, masturbation gay thing that was picked up in the gay media.
Of course.
Right? Hold on, Brandon. Let me get your mic on. Say that again.
I was just going to say it's awesome that he had some notoriety from this. I mean, I think that no matter what you have to say, that news is news, right? And if he has a generally a good message and people are going to go to his website because they want to learn more about him, then maybe this one particular concept, we might not be able to agree on. But you look at the rest of his message, maybe there's something else that you can hold on to.
Well, the thing, and the thing is for guys like Coach Dave and other fundamental, and if you start preaching, I mean, the Bible was never politically correct, especially to today's standards. And if you start preaching in the Bible what it actually says, you're going to piss people off.
Yep.
Well, in the Bible, you can have multiple wives and you can beat them.
Well,
That's what it said.
Well, I mean, but a lot of people, I guess, they kind of cherry pick the messages that they want to run with in the Bible. I mean,
of course, you can kill your kids,
yeah,
or at least prepare to.
Well, you have to separate Old Testament law from New Testament law. New Testament law was
Why? Old Testament was the real shit.
Well, yeah. But the Old
Fire
Testament,
and brimstone, baby. That's
okay. Hold on. Well, you know what? We weren't planning on getting to Dave exactly right now, but I believe Dave. Are you on the line right now, Coach Dave? Are you there?
I am. How you guys doing today?
we're
Guys and girls there. I want to make sure I'm politically correct.
Yes, you are correct.
Are you all guys or
No,
are
you are correct. There is one female here.
Are you gender fluid? I mean, in this day and age in which we live. And let me make something really clear right up front. I never forced anybody to pray. Not ever, not the first time. And if you check the history, I went through a 2-year battle with the American Civil Liberties Union. At the end of the 2-year battle, they dropped the case. Now they collected $13,000 from our school district system for their legal fees, but prayer never stopped on the football field. We never backed down. I never forced the first. Hey, I can't even make my own kids pray. How can I make somebody else's kids pray? And why would I want to? Well, hey, why would I want to make you guys pray? Why would anybody want to do that? So I just want to set the record straight that
I
never
like this
forced
guy
anybody
already.
to pray.
Okay.
And
Well,
secondly,
okay, go ahead, Dave.
Listen here. Secondly, as always happens to guys like me who are on the right, as always happens, everything is always taken out of context. So if you want to, those out there who are listening to this show, if you want to base your entire opinion off of me based on something that came across on right-wing watch in regards to masturbation, then I don't know what else. I don't even know what to tell you, because I'm not going to judge you guys on the first 10 minutes I heard of what you said here. I'm sure you're
I hope
far
not.
more. That's right. I'm sure there's far more depth to you guys than what I heard in those first 10 minutes. So I would just ask the same fair shake.
I got you, Coach Dave. As far as us having more depth than what you heard in the first 10 minutes, I'm not too sure if I could actually justify that and prove otherwise. Because
I was going to say, you might have heard.
We get pretty shallow around here.
I was going to say, we might have gone as deep as we're going to go.
But I will tell you what, Coach Dave, if somebody took some of the quotes from me of stuff that I've said on this show, holy crap, it would be horrendous. It really would be. Let
me compliment you guys, because I was listening to the first 5 minutes here.
I'm sorry about that.
You folks, guys, whatever, you gave the fairest understanding of what I said about masturbation as homosexuality. You're the first group of people who really understood what I'm saying. When a man is masturbating, he may have a woman in his mind. He might be looking at an image, but there ain't no woman anywhere near him when he's doing it. So in that aspect of it, I said that in a sense, masturbation was a form of homosexuality because it's man-on-man sex. And you guys were the first ones that just didn't poo-poo that. And
Coach.
You at least saw some logic there.
I see the logic in it, Coach Dave. I mean, that's like prison sex. You're having sex with a guy. You can imagine a female all day long, but you're still having gay sex. So,
That's right.
Whatever. I totally get it.
Did you just compare masturbation to prison sex?
You do understand this. You guys do all understand this, don't you? You're either born a male or a female. I mean, they're going to dig up Bruce Jenner. They're going to bury Bruce Jenner like King Tut, and they're going to dig him up 500 years from now. And when they do a DNA test on him, he ain't going to be Caitlyn, right? So you can put boobies on, you can paint up your face, you can do everything you want to, and you will always be what God created you to be. He created you male and female. Scripture says that male and female created them. Now we can jump into all this other gender dysphoria, all dysphoria, all that stuff. But dude, check what you got in your pants. That tells you what you are. And I don't know how me saying this is common sense. What happened to you? What happened to people that can't say, hey, look, and take your pants down. Hey, that's a dude. Hey, take your that's a woman.
Wait.
What is so hard about this?
No, but okay, now Coach Dave.
I'm a little curious. Where do hermaphrodites fit on that scale?
Well, that would be the one other possible, very small percentage option that I think we can leave out of the argument.
I got to jump in here, though. I got to jump in here because that's exactly what I hear when we go out and we try to fight against abortion. You know what I hear? Immediately they go to rape and incest. Immediately they do. And so why is it when guys on the left, and I don't know if it's you on the left, so I'm not trying to disparage you guys, why is it you always go to the exception? Why can't we just say, generally 99.8% of people either have a penis or a vagina? Why can't we just talk about that? Why do we have to why do we always have to do that? And that's the way the argument is always fought.
And Dave, we are on similar grounds there. I mean, I've said from the get-go, you're born one way or the other. Now you can identify this whole identification thing, all it is identifying what they're into sexually. You know, so you're either a male or a female, and if you're into
to justify it, that's all they're doing. Well, somebody trying to tell me it's okay to do that.
So, Dave, what's your take on the new term front hole? With everybody wanting to use front hole.
Well, okay, now Dave might not be aware of what's going on. Basically,
come on, man, I'm aware of everything that's going on.
Okay, well,
front hole.
Front hole is the new. It's the new racial fairness way of describing male genitalia.
I don't even know you guys, but I bet you're all smarter than that. And I bet that even the lefties who came up with this, I bet they get back in the back room and they chuckle, say, do you believe they bought that crap? Do you believe we came up with those terms and they bought it? Because we're so stinking gullibles. Christians in particular. See, Christians are so gullible because they claim to be Christians, yet they don't stand on what the Bible says. And the reason that I get myself in trouble is because I go to other Christians and say, hey, pal, can you read? Do you read what this says here? What the heck's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You claim to believe this book, and then you believe that crap that they're telling you.
Well, let me ask you a question, if I may, because a lot of times people will say that the New Testament fulfilled the Old Testament, so we don't have to follow the rules of the Old Testament, like, you know, wearing blended clothing and stuff like that. What is your take on that, sir? And I would like to apologize for mischaracterizing the ACLU situation. That was my fault.
That's all right, man. Listen, the New Testament, it's a whole Bible, fellas. It's a whole Bible. God didn't get born again and become this nice guy in the New Testament, okay? He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. But in the Old Testament times, they had dietary laws, they had the moral code, the dietary code, and the legal code. And because we lived in different times, like for instance, they said that you couldn't eat shellfish. Why couldn't you eat shellfish? Because it would freaking make you sick. It would make you sick. They're the slime of the bottom, right? They're the cockroaches of the sea. They said, don't eat pigs. Why? Don't eat pigs because pigs are they're the cockroaches of the farm. Don't eat those. They were unclean foods. And so for dietary purposes, those things were those, and mixing the threads and all that stuff. See, fellas, guys, I'm sorry, there's a girl there too. I think there is. Hey, dude.
I'm not too sure what she identifies as, so we'll just leave it as the group.
Okay. Really? Let it be known I'm not trying to offend her, although I don't care if I do. I'm not trying to. So the point being, the New Testament, when the New Testament came, the New Testament is a confirmation of the Old Testament. It was before Christ. It was before God sent a redeemer of mankind to deliver us from sin. We don't have to kill goats. We don't have to kill bulls. We don't have to kill cat. We don't have to do any of that. Jesus was the perfect sacrifice. So the blending of those two, of the Old Testament and the New Testament, is what Christianity is all about. But I'm not one of those guys that said, ignore the Old Testament. No, I don't believe that. I believe that a lot of the New Testament, Old Testament is still in effect.
Does that mean you eat bacon?
But I don't believe dietary laws are. Now, there are Christians who'll give me arguments over that. But hey, listen, I know this. Sodomy's still not okay. It's still not okay, no matter what they say. So don't take me to crawfish, and don't take me to the different threads, and don't take me to shellfish, and don't take me to pigs. Let's talk about sodomy. That still ain't okay, boys and girls. That still ain't okay.
Well, I mean, you brought it up. I guess we could talk about sodomy.
Thank you, sir.
No, I've got a different question for you. Because my question is this: is America has become such a politically correct society. You know, anybody says anything that's not politically correct, they get a lot of flack for it. Obviously, you've been on the brunt of that. We've been on the brunt of saying stuff that's not politically correct. But the reality is that the true teachings of the Bible are things that when they come across, in all honesty, from a sincere perspective, are not politically correct opinions.
No.
So
they didn't crucify Jesus because he was a good guy and he pleased everybody. They crucified him because he didn't like the message that he brought. And his battle was sinner, man, and you need a savior. And especially, remember, his battle was not with the Romans, and his battle wasn't with the everyday people. His battle was with the religious leaders. He said, you're a brood of vipers. You're white and sepulchres. You're full of dead men's bones. He says, you lock up the kingdom of God. You don't go in yourself, nor do you let anybody else go in. So he was mad at the religious system. That's what Jesus was mad at. And who crucified him? The religious leaders crucified him.
Right.
Yeah, the Romans did it for him, but it was the religious system. And fellas, listen, Christianity is so much than this phony religious system that we see going on out in the world today with pedophile priests and pastors dinging each other. I mean, it's crazy. So what is masquerading as Christianity, I would say, isn't Christianity. It's a form of godliness, the scripture says, but they deny the power thereof. Well, and so I'm one of these guys. I try to live a righteous life, a holy life, best I can. I don't run around on my wife. I don't. I try to do the best I can. But the most important thing is, fellas, I'm redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Jesus Christ died. I accepted him as my Lord, my Savior, and it radically transformed my life. Back about what year would that have been? 1987.
Dave, let me ask you a question.
I'm sorry, just a second. One more thing. See, here's what I tell everybody, and especially guys who aren't Christians. Listen, hey, fellas, I've been a non-Christian. I've lived that life. I know what that's like. I can go do that right now. I can go do that. I could go smoke some doobies and drink some beer and chase. I could go do that right now. But see, non-Christian, you ain't never been me. You've never been born again. So if you're sitting outside and you've never been born again and you're criticizing me, it's because you don't have the computer app. You've never had the Holy Spirit come and fill you so that things begin to make sense. And so if you're not a Christian, I would say a born-again Christian, his Bible doesn't even make sense to you. It doesn't even make sense. And so I have a hard time trying to explain it to people because they don't have the Holy Spirit as a computer app to make all that stuff make sense for them.
They don't have the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. I totally get what you're saying. But let me ask you this, okay? Now, you're in Ohio. We are in Southern California, which is as close to probably as Sodom and Gomorrah as you're going to get. We're in Southern California. So in our everyday, day-to-day lives, probably more so in Southern California, that we have working relationships with gays or homosexuals, and we are in a civilization down here where it is more inbred into our daily culture. Now, as a Christian male, you yourself, how do you interact with, say, homosexuals or gays that you come across in your daily life? Because there has to be a way that we can interact with people, and you obviously have a message to say. But what is the effective way of communicating in love to somebody that's a homosexual to say, hey, God says that this isn't okay, but how do you relay that to somebody without coming off extremely judgmental and all that other stuff?
Is this Brandon? Am I speaking to Brandon?
No, you're speaking to Jake. Brandon's in the background. Brandon's one of the executive producers on the show, and he's in the background. You're speaking to Jake.
Okay, Jake, here's the same thing. I would treat a homosexual the same way I treat a drug addict or an alcoholic or a womanizer. They're in a lost condition. They're without, as I said, without the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. It tells us in John chapter 3 that you must be born again. You have to be born again. You have to receive Christ, the Holy Spirit of God. And when you receive the Holy Spirit of God, everything changes. And so, I've had people say, what would you do if you had a gay quarterback? I said, man, I hope he can pass good. I hope he can run. It got nothing to do with it. But if he wants to come out and he wants to flaunt his homosexuality in my house then I got an issue with it. And so here's where I am, folks. Listen, this is critical, man. What do we want for our kids? What do we want for our future? And I tell folks this all the time, that if you go to school, you send your kids to public school, and they tell your kids don't smoke, don't drink, don't take drugs, don't drink and drive, and then they say you had children. I mean, I want you to know right now, all four of you sitting there right now, if you had children and your son came home to you at age 13 and said, Dad, Mom, I got something I want to tell you. And you say, oh no. And you go in the room with you want them to tell you they smoke cigarettes or that they're having sex with men? Which one of those would you want your kid to say? So we know inherently that this is not a behavior that is healthy. It's not natural. And we do not want our children falling into that lifestyle. Why is that so hard for us to say? Why is it? That doesn't have anything to do with whether I hate them. I don't hate them. But why would I want anybody's child to fall into that lifestyle? Because we know this. It is a very difficult struggle, a very difficult lifestyle. And we ought to be doing everything we can to help our children not fall into it. I'm 65 years old. I didn't even know what a queer was till I went to college in 1971. I'd never seen one in my life. So I didn't even know what it was. 1971.
Dave, let me ask you a question, Dave.
teaching it in kindergarten now. What's wrong with us?
So you don't think that there's any people that are born gay?
No. How could God create you with something he was going to condemn you for? Now, I believe that we all have a propensity to sin. I have a relative who, from the moment he drank his first beer, he was hooked. He's an alcoholic today. I believe he was born with that sin nature and that propensity to do that. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't go to drunk parades with him. We don't go to downtown Columbus and close down the parade and have all the drunks parade up and down. I don't go over there and carry him beer over all the time so he gets drunk. I love him and I want him to come out of that. I don't sanction I love him in the midst of that sin, but I don't sanction that sin. And by the way, I tell other kids, don't become an alcoholic. Stay away from it. Why is this so hard for us to do with sexual sins?
I have a question for you, Coach. This is Brandon. So what are your thoughts on medical marijuana? I mean, there are a lot of people that use marijuana. I mean, you talked about smoking a doobie and this, that, and the other. In Genesis 1:29, it talks about how God created every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth. So is it your understanding that cannabis is an exclusion to this rule?
I'm not a pot smoker myself. I know a lot of people who are. I think it's the same thing, fellas. I'm a weird guy, okay? I'm a Christian libertarian. And I'm going to tell you as honestly as I can. What you do in your own home, that's up to you. You want to go and you want to blow a joint tonight, go for it. You want to do that? And okay, I believe in personal responsibility. If you blow a joint or you go smoke some crack and you do something wrong, I think you ought to have to pay the price for it. But here's the difference.
I agree with that, Coach Dave. I agree with that 100%.
When you bring that marijuana cigarette out of your house and you bring it into the school, now we got ourselves a different problem. So I'm a Christian libertarian. I believe that God gave you the right to do whatever you want to do. But when you begin to force it upon me or try to influence my children with it or try to cram some type of theology other than my theology down my own kids' throats, and I got a problem with it. And I hear what you're saying. Isn't that what you did as a coach? No, I never did it as a coach. Ever did it as a coach. Never forced anybody to do anything. Now, I shared the gospel with them. I did that. I never ever denied that, because I believe that the gospel of Jesus Christ sets them free from some of the things that we're talking about. Why wouldn't I? I love them. Why wouldn't I tell them that?
Now, Coach
and why
Dave,
wouldn't I go to an alcoholic and tell him I love him? Stop drinking the damn beer. Will you stop it? Why wouldn't I do that?
Exactly. Now, Coach Dave, let me say something, because you said something that I think is very key. You don't want the public schools teaching something that goes against what you believe. Now, I was raised with the same. We are in America, which is a melting you're talking about. That's how I grew up. That's how I was completely raised. But my question is we are in America, which is a melting pot, and now we're having all these other religions coming in. We're having Muslim and all these other things, and they don't want stuff. They want to be included and have their kids taught with that. So is it one of these things where either we keep Muslim and Christianity out of the schools entirely and keep it a religion-free zone? Because how are we going to make everybody happy when you want Christian morals taught and Muslim morals taught and Buddhist morals taught and all this other kind of stuff? What do we do?
There you go. You guys are out there in the land of the fruits, and that's where Dr. Michael Savage is talking borders, language, and culture, right?
Yeah,
when you
I
come
got
to the
some nuts on my
United States of
stuff.
America, listen. When you come to the United States of America, when all these immigrants came in, my grandparents were immigrants, and probably some of you guys are children of immigrants. When you came into the United States of America, we said, listen, you can come in here and you can be whatever you want. You want to be a Muslim? You can be a Muslim. You want to be an atheist? You can be an atheist. But we want you to know something. This is a Christian nation, and here's the rules that we follow. And you can privately do whatever you want to, but you can't violate these rules. You see these rules right here? Don't steal. Don't lie. Don't commit adultery. How about if we just started with those? How about if we just started with those three that we all agreed? We taught our kids, don't have sex outside of marriage, don't lie, don't steal. What if we just started with those three things? See, now what are the basis of those three things? I don't want to disappoint anybody. But to the Bible, those are biblical values. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among them are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And to ensure these rights, governments are instituted amongst men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. We have, in order for us to have a functioning culture, we have to have a series of rules that we all agree on. And in the United States of America, from its very foundation up until 1947, Christianity was the foundation of this nation. And in 1947, in Everson versus the Board of Education, Justice Hugo Black said that there's a separation between the church and state. Well, not a court in America had ever ruled that, and he rewrote the First Amendment. 1961, they take prayer out of schools. 1963, they take Bible reading out of schools. 1973, they tell us we can murder our babies. 1980, they pull down the 10 Commandments. 2001, they legalized homosexual sodomy. 2014, they legalized gay marriage. And it all happened because why? Somebody said, well, we can't have that Christianity. We can't have that Christianity. And look around. Look around at the freaking mess America is in. And the reason America's in the freaking mess is because the Bible says everybody wanted to do what was right in his own eyes. When there was no king in Israel, everybody wanted to do what was right in his own eyes. And you look at the political mess we have. Do you guys understand how screwed up the Christian church is? You look at the Christian church and what's passing for Christianity. We are so lost in the church. We are so confused. And our only chance is to return to the foundational principles upon which we were built, teach those values to our children, excuse me, and then maybe we'll have a chance to make it.
Now, when you're talking...
I'm not against Muslims. Do Muslims do Islam in your home? Do it in your home. But don't come into a Christian America with Christian schools. Well, they're not Christian, are they? They were. You guys, when you went to school, did you say the prayer? Did they say the Lord's Prayer? Did they do the Pledge of Allegiance? Well, we don't do it anymore. Why? Because we're diverse and multicultural. Well, hell, we never used to be. I'm sorry, I'm not mad. It just sounds like it. And we became multicultural because we removed the culture. The Christian foundation. In Holy Trinity, verse, I can't remember, in 1891, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled we were a Christian nation. In 1891. Now, what changed? What changed? Not that everybody had to be Christian, but those are the rules we're going to follow. And we're going to follow these rules, these 10 Commandments. Why do you think they put them up on the wall? Do you think that the guys put the 10 Commandments up on the wall, didn't know what they were doing? No, they put them on the wall because that's the underpinning of this nation. And if you notice, they're sandblasting them off of the wall. They've always been there. It's been the foundation of America. The 10 Commandments, Christianity.
Are we talking about the same... The same
freedom of religion, the right to worship God however you want to. However, your right to worship any God you want to is done privately. Don't bring it into the public domain. That's where I stand with it.
Okay, Steph, you were going to say.
Yeah, I was just a little curious if we were talking about the same Christianity that came here to my nation and robbed my people of their land and their indigenous issues, being able to kill. Yeah, that's right. You can't.
Christians did bad things doesn't make Christianity wrong.
Okay, so it doesn't?
No, I know a lot of bad Christians today. I know a lot of people that don't live like Christians.
Who all do these things in God's name.
People came in and misrepresented Christianity. Do you know right now, fellas, in good old US of A, we're bombing innocent people in Afghanistan. We're bombing innocent. You think that's Christian? Does anybody think that's Christian? Well, that's not Christian. No, that's not Christian.
Dave, what about all these pastors and priests that run these Christian? They run these mega churches and they collect all this money, and the money isn't going where it's supposed to be going. It's not going back to help the community. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that the love of money is the root of all evil. That's exactly what I think, and I think that the reason that we are in the mess we are in today is because our pastors will not speak the truth because they're worried about the money. It's all about money, fellas. And Jesus told us, he said, no man can serve two masters. You can't serve money and you can't serve me. You have to make a decision. And too many of our pastors have been bought and sold out.
And Dave, I believe me, I've dealt with almost every mega church down here in Southern California area. Just a little bit of my background. I was raised in a church, and I do audio and visual. That's what I do as a profession. And I've worked with almost every mega church down here in Southern California. And I kind of see what you're talking about when it seems like the message of Christ, the message of Christianity, what I grew up with and what you're talking about, when it gets watered down so much as not to offend anybody, so it doesn't cut off the waterfall of the cash coming into the business. So I kind of get what you're saying.
Well, this one gets me in trouble a lot, and I'll stick by it.
Well, let's hear it out.
Here's the lie. Here's the lie. One of the lies of the Christian church, or many, by the way, many. And here's one of them: that God loves everybody. Fellas, that's just not true. That's just not true. God's love is available to everybody. Because, see, do you guys know that the devil has kids? Do you know that Jesus said at least twice in the scriptures, you are of your father, the devil? The works of your father you will do? God loves his children. And the devil's children aren't his children. Now, the devil's children can become his children by what? A transformation, a conversion to Christianity, to become a child of God. But this idea, see, that we look around, we see everything that's going on, say, oh, God loves everybody. No, God so loved the world, past tense. He loved the world, not necessarily the people of the world. He loved the world so much, he sent his only begotten son, that whosoever, there you are again, it's not everybody. Whosoever. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And the last verse of that same chapter, it says, apart from Christ, the wrath of God abides on you. Now, I don't know about you guys. My wrath doesn't abide on my own children. It just doesn't. And so the message of Christianity is anybody can be a Christian.
Doesn't
but
he
not
also
everybody's
say,
a child of God.
It's all interpretation. It's all interpretation. We're talking about a book that's over 2,000 years old that we have no clue who wrote it, where any of the information came from. I could write a book right now that says that my balls rule the world. And 2,000 years from now.
I bet it wouldn't work. Make it 2 years, let alone 2,000.
It doesn't matter. 2,000 years from now.
Now, here's something I'm going to say to you. I'm betting this right now. I don't know. I don't even know who's talking to me. But I bet you're not a Christian, and I bet you don't have the software. So you can't understand.
Yeah.
Tired.
Software. You haven't had the Holy Spirit downloaded into your body. The app. You haven't received the app.
I get sick and tired, not at you guys, because I don't know you. I get sick and tired of people who aren't even Christians telling me how I'm supposed to behave as a Christian.
But Dave, isn't the point isn't the point as Christians is it's to reach the people that are not Christians?
Absolutely. No. The reason 1 John 3:8 says, for this purpose was the Son of Man manifest, that he would destroy the works of the devil. Fellas, here's a good picture of it. It's the seed of the serpent against the seed of the woman. We're in an eternal struggle for this world. And God uses people to fight the struggle against evil. God uses people to do that. And what we see playing out is this cosmosis chess game. Listen, is homosexuality going to be okay? No, it's not going to be okay. Is drug use going to be okay? No, it's not going to be okay. Are we going to be allowed to go over and steal land from the Indians? No, you can't go stay. That's the battle that's being played out. And so those of us who carry the name of Christ are supposed to advance the kingdom of God and hold up righteousness. It's not just about getting saved and going to heaven. We are to occupy till he returns. We are to earnestly contend for the faith. We are his ambassadors. We are supposed to be here enforcing his code. It says here in Matthew 28, I don't have it in front of me. It says in Matthew, go ye into all the world, the gospel of Jesus Christ, and teach them to observe all I've commanded you. And lo, I'm with you always, even until the end of the age. And I'm going to tell you this, properly lived out Christianity brings peace. Properly
lived out Christianity brings out peace.
So Dave, if one of your
properly lived.
But if one of your children came home today or tomorrow and they told you that they were a homosexual, how would you handle that? Based on your view, views.
I would love them, and I would do everything. And I'd pray for them. I'd do everything I could to help them. I would never ever endorse or accept that. I would never would. I'd love them.
But you'd still love them.
Come to my house.
But you'd still love them.
What would I do if my son comes home and tells me that he's a drug head?
You'd still love him.
I'm going to love him. I'm going to try to help him get over it. Well, if I come home, he tells me he's an alcoholic. Well, I'm going to love him, but I'm going to try to help him get over it. Well, if he comes home and tells me he's a homosexual, I'm going to love him.
But that's based on that's based on your belief that you believe homosexuality is a true choice and not the way you were born.
Well, it's based on the fact that the Bible tells me that male and female made he them. Now, guys, listen. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. It's not the smartest. But the purpose of sex is reproduction. And the Bible tells us to have nothing to do with the unfruitful works of darkness. So what is a tree that doesn't produce fruit? Well, you probably cut it down because trees are supposed to produce fruit. But a man and a man lying together will never create fruit, ever, never have a child. And a woman laying with a woman will never create a child. Now, they can monkey around with it and they can go get a sperm bank or they can have somebody implanted. But the natural use of the man and the woman and the woman will never produce fruit. So when I look at this whole marriage thing, see, when we start thinking sex is only about orgasms and feeling good, now we're heading down the wrong path. Listen, I got 3 kids. Sex is enjoyable. I love sex. Who doesn't love sex? But when I love sex more than I love the procreation of children, then I've got the whole thing upside down. And that's where that's where we are with the sanctity of life. What's happened to us? What's happened to us that a mother will kill her unborn baby? Hey fellas, that ain't even natural. That ain't even natural. My son's got a German Shepherd, big old German Shepherd. A German Shepherd, you try to go near one of that German Shepherd's babies, oh, buddy, you better have some clothes on. You're going to get torn to pieces. Why? Because it's natural for a mother to defend her children.
Actually,
what's wrong with human beings? What's wrong with human beings?
Now that you speak of it, though, the fact of what you're saying about mothers protecting their children in the animal kingdom, there's actually all type of animals that kill their young because they can sense.
There you go. You guys always go to the exception. Always go to the exception.
That's not an exception. It happens. There's not.
Steph, I think I'm going to get labeled leftist because of your comments.
Are you telling me that most of the animals in the world eat their babies? In fact, you brought it up because you think it's unbelievable that somebody would eat their baby.
No,
we know that that's stupid. Animals don't do that.
They do it all the time. They do it all the time.
Who? Who does?
They do. Animals.
Who? Pigs? Tell me another one. You a pig?
Animals.
Tell me another one.
Period. Dogs. And there's all kinds of animals that eat their young in the wild.
I have a question for you. So there are some people, this is Brandon, there are some people that are in the audience that are asking, what are your thoughts about same-sex couples adopting? Because there are some times whenever women cannot take care of their kids. And, but there are people that are able to take care of their kids.
Brandon, do we really have to ask this question? I'm pretty sure we all know what Coach Dave's response to this is going to be.
Hear his thoughts. I don't know.
But you don't know why. How about this?
Okay.
Would you allow children to be adopted into a family of drug users?
Well, no. Tom,
why?
But see, you went to the exception. That's the exception.
Go to the exception. No, I didn't go to the exception.
That is the exception.
We want to place children in a morally sound home with an example of a mother and a father. And I'm going to tell you something. You mark this word. The day's coming when we are going to begin to see children's services be sued. It may be 20 years, it may be 25 years. We are going to see lawsuits come against children's services because the child's going to raise up and they're going to say, you know what? You placed me in a home with 2 women and you deprived me of the right to have a father. You had no right to be able to do that. And I'm going to sue you because of it. Because listen, every child, we know this. Some parents are lousy parents, but every child deserves a mother and a father if our society is going to continue to thrive. Now listen, I understand that there might be some homosexuals who are better nurturing parents than heterosexuals. I get it. But see, I come back to that standard. Are we going to teach biblical standards or are we not going to teach biblical standards? And so,
Yeah, but Dave, isn't it about love though? Like love and safety. Like It's
not about love. It's not about love.
But hold on.
It's not about.
Hold on. There's plenty of heterosexual parents out there that are shitty parents, and they're going to raise their kids in a shitty home.
Drug addicts.
And not even drug addicts, just regular people that are just going to be shitty parents. But you're going to say that 2 homosexual people, because they're homosexual, don't have the capability because they're homosexual, and it's not within the Bible.
You didn't hear what I said.
I did hear what you said.
I said that, no, you didn't. because I said that every child deserves a mother and a father. And just because some dads are lousy dads doesn't mean you don't put them in a home where there isn't any dad. And I'm smart enough to understand this also, that some single mothers are raising children, and it's hard. But why are single mothers raising children? Because the creepy dad dropped the ball, right? And why did the creepy dad drop the ball? Because Ronald Reagan, your great governor out there in California, gave us no-fault divorce. There used to be a time when you said for better or for worse, for richer, for poor, sickness and health, graduating class for as long as we both shall live. I grew up with all of my friends. In my graduating class in 1971, there was one divorced family. One. Now, does that mean all the parents loved each other? Probably not, but they stayed together for the kids. Because when you have a kid, it becomes an obligation. And see what happens to us is because we've lost all morality, we have crappy parents. We have crappy parents.
I like the example that you use about 50 years ago what happened and everybty stayed together. Are we talking about the same dads? No, they did. But the dad would also have 4 other families all around the fucking nation with kids and different mothers and shit like that because they were staying with their wives. They still floated off and did their own thing.
And they had other families.
Complete families.
Hey, boys, that's sin. That's sin. You can't legalize sin, but you can sure criminalize immorality. Okay, you can sure do that.
So you'd rather have a kid raised by a father that basically that does adultery, versus 2 homosexual parents.
That's a false choice. I don't want that. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. But I know this. I don't think we ought to place a child in a family where there's drugs. I don't think we ought to place a child in a family where there are alcohol parents, and I don't think that we ought to place a child in a family where there is deviant sexual behavior. 2 men and 2 women. I don't think we should do it. Because you know why? I care more about the kids and the future of our nation and the following of a set of rules and regulations than I do about whether 2 men can feel complete because they get to have a child.
What happened to judge not lest ye be judged?
Well, do you want to go there?
No, I'm just curious. I'm curious. We're having a conversation.
You want to go to?
You sound very judgmental right now.
Okay, hang on there, man, because I got my scripture right in front of me. That's Matthew 7, verse 1, by the way. I hear it all the time out on the street. Who are you to judge, right? You want to hear the rest of it? You want to hear what it says, really?
Be my guest.
It says, okay, here we go. Judge not that you be not judged, for with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. With what measure you meet, it shall be measured unto you. So in other words,
Karma.
if you're going to judge people who for breaking up their marriage, don't break up yours. If your marriage is broke up, don't you be hypocritically criticizing somebody else. That's what that means. It doesn't say don't judge. The Bible says we're going to judge angels. You mean you don't judge? In fact, you're judging me.
Interpretation.
Right now, you think I'm some cowpoke that fell off the tree, off of the turnip truck. You're judging me right now. You were judging me what my ancestors did to the Indians. You're judging me. Fellas, we judge all the time. That girl's pretty. Hey, I'd rather have Verizon than I would T-Mobile. Give me a steak. No, I want a pizza. We judge all the time. Boy, she's fat. Boy, she's skinny. Man, he looks good. Boy, he's smart. Boy, Trump's ugly. Boy, I wish we had Hillary. We judge all the time. You got to be crazy to not judge.
All right, Dave. Okay, this is Jake. I'm the primary host, but I think actually you're the primary host tonight, which I'm completely fine with. But Dave, okay, the church today, the modern church. Okay, obviously, I believe in grace, and I believe that the New Testament teaches us a lot. That basically, no matter how perfect you think you are, we all have sin of our lives. We all have failed and come short, and it's only by the grace of God that any of us are ever going to make it to heaven. Okay. So how does it seems to be like the majority of the attitude of the church towards homosexuality, towards some of these sins that are no different than you sinning, driving down the highway and breaking the speed limit. It's all sin. How does the church reach out today to a society and not come across as what's been almost portrayed about this anti-homosexual? I mean, the New Testament, Jesus came and he hung out with whores and sinners, and he just showed them love, and he did speak the truth. You know what I mean? In fact, when the whore asked Jesus if it was okay for me to be whoring around, he probably told her, "No, it's not." You know what I mean?
In fact, he said, "Go and sin no more." Right?
Go and sin no more. But he's still.
Does anybody? Can you show me any place in there? I'm just curious here. Any place in his Bible where he said, "Listen, I was wrong about this homo thing. I was wrong about that. Go ahead and do that. That's all right.
Go ahead and stick it and quit it.
Go ahead and sleep with your dog. Go ahead and sleep with your dog if you want to." I don't know.
Okay, but Dave, what I'm saying is I'm not disagreeing with you of what the Bible says. What I'm saying is, how does the modern church today reach out to that homosexual gay community and come across with some of God's love instead of coming across with the total judgmental, hey, you're sinning, you're wrong. I mean, it's got to start with love. That's the only way you're going to get into these people's lives and to communicate with them.
That's not true, though.
Okay.
This is not true. I mean, at some point you have to express love, right? But the Bible says that you have to, it says, preach the word, be instant in season and out of season, reprove, rebuke, and exhort. Now, do any of those words sound good to you? I'm going to reprove you. I'm going to rebuke you. That's right out of Timothy.
No.
I'm going to exhort you. And it says in the book of Jude, some you got to pull them right out of the fire. You got to pull them out of the fire. I'm on a rescue mission, fellas. I'm not on a teddy bear mission. I'm on a rescue mission. I'm trying to rescue souls, pull them out of hell. That's what I'm trying to do. And I got to tell you, sometimes that don't look good. Sometimes that doesn't sound good. But sometimes I got to do something to open a guy's eyes to look around and see how he's living. Just say, look at the mess you're in. Look at the mess. Come out of that mess. Christ can help you come out of that mess. That's my message.
This is Brandon again. We had someone in the comments talking about Luke 6:37, where it says, "Judge not, lest you be judged," and then it follows up by say, "Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven" as well. Isn't that our prerogative? Is to forgive our brothers and sisters?
Oh, so judging them means I'm angry at them? Is that what you're telling me? Why do I have to forgive somebody I'm not angry at?
Well, no, I'm saying that it's our prerogative
I'm not angry at homosexual. I'm not angry at him.
If we're harmed, is to turn the other cheek, right?
Listen, why do I have to forgive him? Forgive him of what? He hasn't done anything to me.
Well, and Eddie in the comments says, you can accept everyone for who they are, and it doesn't mean you have to agree with their lifestyle. And I think that happens a lot.
That is not true. Do you have any idea how mad some people are about the pedophile priests? Why don't they love them
mad about
and
it.
forgive them?
Well, that's...
No, boys. No. Some things demand judgment. They demand judgment.
I'm with you on the pedophile priest.
And the real justice, the real love of God is to make sure that those pedophile priests pay a price for what they did to those young boys. Justice is love. Justice is love. And listen, if I go out and molest some boy, which I would never do, but if I did, I deserve to pay for it to bring justice to the young guy that I violated.
I agree. I guess I'm having a hard time. I guess I'm having a hard time about the way I treat a pedophile and then jumping to treating a gay person in that same genre.
So you're judging sin. You're judging sin then. You're doing what you told me not to do.
Oh, no, that was Steph. I definitely agree in judging people. I do it all day long. That was Steph, the Native American that's sitting on the show.
Okay. You're right. Because I don't believe anybody has the right to judge me for my choices.
Homosexuality's okay. Pedophile's not okay. Well, that seems pretty judgmental to me.
Well, I guess I'm saying that there's different levels. I mean, when you're talking with a pedophile, you're talking about somebody that is going against a child.
It sounds to me like you're bringing up the exception, though.
I think it's a good thing you're judging. I think it's a good thing. What is prejudice? Well, prejudice is to prejudge.
Prejudge.
Prejudge. And why are we mad about prejudice? Not that we prejudged, but that we prejudged wrongly. That's what's mad. That's what makes us upset about prejudice. I'm not prejudiced. I don't prejudge every black guy I see. I don't prejudge every alcoholic I see.
Just
I don't
homosexuals?
do that. I don't. But hey, I do this. I do judge their behavior. So that's wrong, man. That's wrong. You may be a great guy, but that's wrong. Hey, you may be the best radio host ever. But if you're cheating on your job, you steal money from your boss, That's wrong, man. That's wrong. I still love you, but that's wrong. Come on, fellas, we got to judge. Let's not buy that line that the God haters have fed us. That's how they get away with all this stuff. Don't y'all? Who are you to judge? Don't judge. Well, I'm a righteous man of God. I got the ability to see. I got the ability to think. And you know what? That's right and that's wrong. And I'm going to say so.
I get you, Dave. I get you what you're saying, Dave. I
judge behavior, not people.
Behavior, not people. But okay. So you talked about smoking marijuana in the confines of your home. You talked about you judge behavior and not people. Well, in the confines of your home, if somebody decides to sin and they want to be in a gay marriage in their home, they're not out doing one of these gay parades where they're slapping their wang around in a thong and doing all that kind of stuff, and they're not shoving it in your face. But they decide to live a monogamous homosexual relationship at home. And it doesn't impede. They're not out there teaching it to your students at your school and not teaching the sexuality. They're just two loving people that love each other that are gay in the confines of their home.
Welcome to 1950 America.
Well, he's got a damn good point there, Tom.
Yeah, but we're not in 1950 America anymore. It's not the 1950s anymore.
Yeah, but what I'm getting from Dave is I think he has a big problem when it starts getting public and jammed down his throat. Say that again, Dave. I was talking over you. Say that one more time.
I'm sorry. That doesn't make it better just because we're in 2018. You guys do realize this, don't you? You do realize that the scourge of racism, that was ended by Christians. You know that Robert E. Lee was a very, very strong Christian man down in the South? Did you know that Robert E. Lee said slavery was a scourge on America, but he believed it was the job of the church to end slavery, not the government. He didn't want government intervention. And so when Robert E. Lee in the war against the states, it cost us 600,000 lives to do away with that scourge on this nation. We paid a horrible, horrible price for that, but we rectified the situation. And if we have Christian values and we live in a Christian republic, many of these things will work themselves out. Hey, I'm going to shock you. I'm not for the killing of homosexuals. I don't think we ought to kill homosexuals. I'm going to tell you this. I don't want him teaching it to my grandson. Is there something wrong with me? I don't want him teaching that to my son.
Yeah, but
grandson. I don't want him teaching. I don't want them to teach my kid to use drugs. I don't want anybody teaching these aberrant behaviors to my grandchildren. What is it? Why am I the wrong one guy? Why am I the wrong guy?
Well, here? Dave, I don't think you're wrong, and I don't think a lot of people, even in this room, think you're wrong on that. I mean, me as a parent, I have a 22-year-old son and a 16-year-old son, and I can tell you what, when it comes to what they're being taught in school, it should be science, the reproductive system, male, female, but sexuality is something that I don't think should be taught in school. For me personally,
Amen.
that's the way I feel. Steph, how did you feel about the actual, other than the science of sex, sexual preference being taught to your kid? Is that something that you want taught in school?
No, that's at home stuff.
That's at home stuff,
yeah,
exactly.
It's not for the teachers to decide whether that's okay or not okay.
We're on the same page.
So we're on the same page there, Dave.
Yeah, for that part.
Listen, could we agree? You think we could agree on a set of principles that everybody ought to be taught? That every American ought to be taught? Well, come on, guys. With all the warts and everything we had before, really after the Second World War with the Kinsey Report, that's when things began to get out of hand. We had slavery and we had problems, but for the most part, we were pretty much a moral society. Do you know that in 1950?
Why am I the only guy that black lager?
I don't know. Go ahead, Dave.
In 1950, I could be off. 1955, something like that. Only 3% of black marriages ended in divorce. Only 3%. You want to know the fastest way?
Where are these statistics coming from?
Live in a broken home.
Where did you get that number from?
Today, it's 70% of black kids are born in a home where there's no dad. What chance do they have? And how has that happened? Why? Because I'm going to tell you, in the 1950s, when the black families were coming out of slavery, the family bond was so strong that they stayed together and they raised their children and they loved their the liberty that they had, and they valued it. Now we have licentiousness. It's not just blacks. Almost 50% of marriages in the white community end in divorces. What is going on here? It's because we have not taught moral values to our children. And for the life of me, you said you had a son. You have a son that was how old? 20 and 116.
22 and 16. Yeah.
Are they married?
No, they're both. The 16-year-old, he can only get married in Kentucky, and the 22-year-old is still flying solo.
So let me ask you this: when your 22-year-old gets married, and he probably will here someday, the day of the wedding, you're gonna put your arm around him, pat him on the back, and say, "Hey, Joe," I don't know what his name is. "Hey, Joe, man, I hope this is the best of your 6 marriages." Or do you hope he's going to be married forever to one woman?
Of course, yeah, because I'm bad with names. I don't want to have to remember 6 of his wives' names. But no, correct.
Why don't we teach these values? It makes for a better society.
But don't you agree that these are the values that should be taught at home, and it's not really the school or the government or anybody else's responsibility? Don't you believe that the failure starts at home, and like it's almost like the Christian male fathers in the home have been dropping the ball for the last 50 years, and that's where it all roots from?
Well, why have they been dropping the ball for the last 50 years? Go back to Everson versus the Board of Education, 1947, separation between the church and state. They removed all morality from the schools. I was born in 1952.
But morality should be taught at home. And I think that what dropped the ball is fathers as a whole stop teaching their kids altogether. I think the school
began to undermine what the parents were teaching.
And yes, prior to that, the schools and the government were picking up some of the slack because the schools are more conservative and they were teaching more morality and more things like that. But it was never the school's job. It was the churches and the fathers and the mother's job. It was the family's job. And somewhere, no matter what they were doing at school, it has to come down that in the home, the ball was dropped.
I'm with you. But also, I want you to think about this. I don't know what it's like where you guys are. Here we have Muslim schools here in Columbus. We have an influx of quite a few Muslims. We have inner city schools that are all black. Can somebody help me out here? Why aren't there taxpayer subsidized Christian schools? Why can't a parent choose to send his or her child to a Christian school? Not that they have to go there, but those are the values that the parents want taught to their child. Why can't there be Christian schools?
So there is no Christian schools there?
Hold on, say that again, Tom.
So there's no Christian schools there?
Subsidized by the governent.
Private schools, yes.
So you're talking about subsidized like that the government pays for.
How many poor Christian parents can't afford to put their child into private Christian education?
A lot. Probably the majority.
A lot.
Right. So why can't we have right there? And where are you guys in LA? You in San Diego? I don't know where you are.
Well, we're right outside LA.
Schools. Why can't there be Christian schools? The parents, the kids get to decide they want to go to the Christian school and they want it to be government subsidized. Why can't? Because the lie of the separation between the church and state. See? So they're going to take my tax dollars and they're going to teach my children things I don't even believe. That's tyranny, fellas. It's tyranny. It's freedom of religion, not freedom from it.
Well, I mean, that backs down to my original question, Dave. If the public schools,
any religion,
if the public schools are teaching things, so they're not being Christian based anymore. Okay, now they're doing this whole worldview and they're touching a little bit on all religions. Don't you just think that maybe the best move now is just to cut all religion out of the schools and let it be left alone? That when it comes to religion, it's taught at home by the parents.
Here's what I think they ought to do. I think they ought to
right now.
Why government school? That's what I think. And then allow that whole system.
Well, here comes the libertarian view right now.
Can somebody tell me why some bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. is telling me here in Columbus, Ohio, what my child ought to know? Don't you guys remember? Maybe you're not old enough. I remember when we used to have local school boards. And it was the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, and the farmer. They sat on the school board, and they determined what was going to be taught to the children within the community. Why is it some egghead in Washington, D.C. now tells us here in our little town outside of Columbus, we got to teach LGBTQRSTUVWXYZ. We got to teach that to her. Well, who the hell made that decision?
You can also,
I don't want that taught to our
there's
we don't want that
homeschooling.
done here in our town.
You can also teach your children at home.
Which a lot of people with conservative morals and they are doing these days. A lot of Christian families are teaching their children at home.
Yeah, right. But see, listen. Can somebody explain to me why they're teaching the sexual agenda to my children against my wishes?
Well, okay. Here's the thing, Dave. Now, let me get this straight. You ran for Congress at one time, right?
2010.
Don't you think these are things that I believe that you believe, and there's a lot of other people that believe exactly the same way? How come this isn't getting on the legal books? How come we're not going through the voting process and actually putting bills out with these ideas that you're talking about? But isn't that the only way that we could fix it nowadays, is to take a political ramp up on this and go take it to the polls and vote on it?
Did you watch what they did to Judge Kavanaugh today?
I didn't see it. I know they're laughing at him, but I didn't see exactly what was going on.
This is all out war. And the left, those on the left, do not want Christian morality. Oh, that's the war. Remember I told you it was a war? Seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman? There's a real, they call it a cultural war, but it's not. It's a spiritual war. Fellas, you either serve the Lord or you serve the devil. They know. Jesus said that you either for me or against me. You either gather or you scatter. And I don't know where you guys are spiritually, but I'm going to tell you this. If you're not serving the Lord, you're on the devil's team.
So you don't...
That's just the truth. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, or I'm not trying to make you feel anything. If you're not a servant of Christ, you're on the devil's team. There is no demilitarized zone. There's no fence that you ride. And so that is the battle that's going on.
And Dave, let me tell you this. I've got people in the comments, and these people in the comments, I don't believe them to be religious people, but they agree with you to the fact where they're saying that, parents should have to sign a permission slip for their kids to be taught about LGBT. So what I'm saying is that this is something that goes beyond the church pew, and this goes to parenting in America as a whole. And these are important issues to a lot more people than just the religious right. It's important to a lot of parents, period.
I believe that non-Christian parents, I believe there are many of them, many non-Christian parents that don't want the homosexual agenda taught to the children. This is not just a Christian issue. I think a lot of parents are sick and tired of what is being taught to their children, but they don't really know what to do.
Okay, well, Dave, let me ask you this, okay, because I'm ignorant on this. I am totally ignorant. Like I said, my oldest son is 22, so he's been out of high school for a cool minute. My son that's 16 years old, he's never talked about it. But what are they teaching in the schools regarding homosexuality? I mean, are they saying
I'm not aware that they're teaching that. My
question is. It seems like a general statement, but what are they actually teaching? Does any teachers in here at all? Is there a teacher that can call in? I'm just curious about what are they.
I could give you a million things.
Well, you're a high school coach. You were around it. What are they teaching our children regarding LGBT and homosexuality and that kind of stuff?
But I don't think the schools.
I'm not aware.
I don't think the schools are teaching it, or is it the kids that are?
Oh my goodness!
Are they preaching? Are they preaching it to each other?
Schools are teaching it. You don't think the schools are teaching it?
That's what I'm asking.
I'm just asking. I'm asking, what are they teaching? I haven't heard.
Well, wait. What's that new form of teaching that they
Tolerance, had? Diversity.
No. What was there? There was a whole segment, and it sounds like people are pushing back on it.
A new teaching
Common Core. In fact, during the debates, the presidential debate. I'm sorry. During the presidential debates, it was a real popular thing. It was the Republican side, Trump, and everybody else vying for the Republican nomination. And Trump looked at Jeb Bush and he says, "And your Common Core sucks." And everybody clapped like crazy. And I think there's a lot of stuff being pushed with Common Core where, they're getting into a lot of the stuff that you're talking about.
Okay, let me cut it down for you out here in the cornfields, okay? Are you ready? This is really pretty easy. Common Core communism.
Oh, well.
Common Core communism.
I think you're making it too simple.
Everybody's equal. Now listen.
That is one hell of a leap there.
No, do you think it is?
Common
do you really
Core
think it is?
to communism?
I'm not going to say that you're not right, but I'm looking at your analogy. I'm not going to give you all the credit I think you're going to look for.
Okay, well, I'm not looking for any. I'm not looking for a pat on the back, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm not giving
Here's
one. But
listen. I want you guys to understand this because I think you're all smart. I think you're all smart.
Except
And if you just
Stephen,
open your eyes
the
and you
Native
look around,
American.
you're going to see this kind of stuff's going on. You know what's going on? They want to give Common Core to all those kids in the inner cities and all that, and all the people, white people, Jewish people, not Hispanics so much, but Asian people. They ain't got their kids in those schools. They got their kids in those upper private schools. So what they're doing is they're keeping the bourgeoisie, they're keeping all of them in Common Core, and all those people got the money, boy, they're getting out of those stupid schools, and they're going to go to some private school down the road, and they're going to end up in Stanford or Harvard or Yale. And if you guys can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to tell you this. Very wealthy, intelligent parents do not have their kids in public schools.
yeah, and
Why?
I agree
They
with.
get it.
And I agree with you. I think Common Core is absolute crap, and I do sort of to a certain extent feel like it was designed to practically destroy people.
So what is the comment?
Well, no, I was just hell. I was feeding it off, and I think it's in the it's recoiling. I think they're starting to pull it out, but I'm impressed with your legal analysis. You've got a lot of the cases, and I don't know that we're unwinding as much, but you've gone down a number of cases that certainly have a lot of Christians concerned. Do you have any thoughts on the Comstock laws? Pre 1960s, and it's really interesting. You really I mean, you've got both sides. I mean, one side you're very much Christian, but on the other side, you're really, you've got that libertarian streak, and so, Comstock lies. I mean, they've got into, starting to look into, well, are you guys having sex? And they were really against prophylactics and against, birth control. And then finally,
all right, Mike, you're going down a road where our audience doesn't even understand what a prophylactic is. You got to say condom. This show went from slapstick, hey, let's poke fun over here, to a serious CNN episode tonight. All right. So we're going.
Well, I'm just wondering where you are with.
I think you need a little bit of seriousness, right?
Oh, of course.
Need a little bit
of course.
Now understand. Please understand this, guys, girls, girl, whatever. I am not
just front hole bearer. That's what we call her.
Well, okay, whatever. I'm not for the enforcement of biblical law in schools. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not for that.
Okay.
But we have to return. See, I don't think that you ought to have to go to public school. Just use this as a for instance, and not eat meat on Friday. I mean, that's crazy. I don't think you ought to have to go to public school and go to devotions on Friday morning. I don't think you ought to have to do that. But I think in public schools, see, people all across America are crying out because there's no discipline in our young kids. And why is there no discipline? Because there are no standards. We need to return to standards and allow the mother and the father to raise their children. Now, Teddy Roosevelt said that to educate a child and not to educate him in morality is to educate a menace to society. So we cannot allow morality to be taken out of the picture. And that's what we have in our public schools. They are amoral. Everybody do whatever they want to do, except don't ever make fun of a homosexual. About anything else you can do, but don't make fun of a homosexual. And so,
I mean, Dave's got a point.
There are no standards. There are no standards.
I mean, Dave has a point that there are no standards. It's all loosey goosey. Oh, this kid has this medical condition, so he doesn't have to play by the rules. This kid, you can't do that. Right. There's no standard of rules. So, Dave, I mean, when you're saying like you don't believe that we should come back to where no meat on Friday and all this other our daily devotional, but if we came back with like a biblical foundation in your view of say like the 10 Commandments as a standard of morality in the schools, you would probably do a backflip and be ecstatic about it.
Yeah, they used to be up there. Listen, towards the end of my teaching career, I saw something really pretty profound happen. And that we would use illustrations in our teaching. We would say something like, well, man, you got to stand up and you got to fight hard and you got to become a David against Goliath. And we would use biblical illustrations like that. Samson, man, Samson was a powerful man till he got his hair cut off of him. So you got to be careful here what your strength is and recognizing your strengths. You go into a public school today, and you tell the story of Samson, David, and Goliath, they don't even know what you're talking about. They don't even know. They have no understanding of our historical basis and our historical founding. And if a people have forgot who they are, which we have, we're never going to recover. I live here outside of Columbus, Ohio. Fellas, we have German village. We have the Italian village. We have the French sector. Now, they're not Germans living there now, but even back in those days when the Germans came to Columbus, they lived in the same neighborhood. They taught the same values to their children. Did you know that when the United States was founded, the 13 original colonies, Google it, the colonies were set up according to denominations. Rhode Island was Baptist. New York was Dutch Reformed. Massachusetts was Church of England. Maryland was Catholic. And did you know that when Thomas Jefferson wrote his letter to the Danbury Baptists, he said there's a separation between the church and the state, not the feds. State. The state determined what the faith was within that state. Now, we're never going to get back to those. We'll never get back to that. And I'm not saying we ought to go back to that.
All right, Dave.
We forgot our founding.
Well,
we forgot our founding.
Well, I think we can all agree. I think we can all agree sitting at this table that we agree that there has been a moral decline in America as a whole. And kids these days don't have respect, and they don't have the foundation that we had when we were kids back in the day. So we see this moral decline. We see this
father and mother. We don't teach
that.
that.
Punch them in the face like you used to.
We can't discipline the kids. But a lot of this is coming into play with government getting involved in the way that we parent and what we can do and all this other kind of stuff. So lack of discipline, lack of whatever foundation. I think we all can agree that society has been taking a downturn, and kids today are little a-holes, for lack of a better term, and we need a little something revising. But I don't know how we get there, but this is a great conversation that needs to be had. But I'll tell you what, Dave, I promised you that we'd only bring you on for 10 minutes. You've been on for about an hour and 20 minutes. I know you have a morning radio show at 7 a.m. in Ohio. Why don't you go ahead and plug some of your information? What is your website for people that want to learn more?
Coach Dave Live. I'm Coach Dave, and I'm live. And I appreciate coming on with you guys. I came on with some trepidation, and the reason I came on with I thought I was probably going to get ambushed. I'm a big boy; I can take it.
No, we didn't ambush you. We let you talk.
You've been very fair to me. You've been very fair to me, and ask good questions. And I can bark back. I can take it. But I'm going to tell you, fellas, if we don't begin to understand that we are first and foremost spiritual beings, we are, and that we're all at some point, whether you believe it or not, we're going to give an account in the world beyond this. If we don't begin to teach our children that there's more to life than just the here and now, if we don't help them get an eternal vision of their life, we're never going to be able to turn this stuff around. See, one of the reasons that Christianity was so important is because, listen, it taught our people that there was a payday someday. If you don't straighten up, you're going to pay. Now, you don't have to believe it, but the idea that there was a heaven to gain and a hell to shun kept some people in line. Now, I happen to believe it's true. I know many people don't believe it's true, but aren't we all here for the same thing? Aren't we all here for an equitable society and liberty and freedom and doing right to one another and loving your brothers, your neighbors, yourself? I think we are all for this. But fellas, it isn't going to happen with multiculturalism and diversity and tolerance. Yeah, as a football, I'll finish up with this.
Go ahead,
football coach, pretty good one, pretty good football coach. And I can tell you this, diversity was our greatest weakness. When I walked into the huddle, we had diverse guys. We had big, fat guys and short guys, skinny guys and fast guys. We had all kinds of guys. We had diverse bodies, but we had one vision together in that huddle. And when we called the play, everybody came out and ran the same play. They didn't run what they want to play. They didn't block with whoever they wanted to block. Everybody knew what it was. And see, we've lost that common vision of what it means to be American. And it isn't just you getting to do whatever you want to do. With your life comes responsibility. And we no longer teach that to our children.
But I think you're using diversity in the wrong manner because different people can come together.
No. Hold on. You see that now, Coach Dave. I'm warning you ahead.
I realize what he said.
They're already going to clip that out and say that you said diversity was. But I understand what you're meaning because you said the diversity in the mind thought was what would have destroyed your team. You had to be unified in the mind thought. Physical size, color, race had nothing to do with it. That's not the diversity. You're talking about diversity of thought. Yeah, black guys.
Yeah,
that's because we're great athletes.
I don't think skin color has anything to do with diversity. I don't think it got nothing to do with diversity. It doesn't.
Yeah. And that's why I didn't want it to come off that way.
Yeah. So Coach Dave, I'll tell you what, it was a pleasure having you on here. I had some fun with it. Tom, I mean, hey. Thanks for coming on. So anybody that wants to check out Coach Dave live, check him out at CoachDaveLive.com. That's his website. He has a podcast that's available on iTunes, Google Play, and it's under the same name, Coach Dave Live. Check out Coach Dave. If you want to find out more from him, he has hey, is your morning show that you do on AM radio, does that stream online anywhere, Dave?
Oh, and also go to my website. Go to CoachDaveLive.com. It streams there live. I'm on a lot of platforms like you guys. It's archived there all day. It's free. I mean, listen. You know what? You know why my show's a good show? Because I don't give any slack to the Christians. I see we're in the mess we're in today because Christians haven't been Christians. I don't point the finger at the homosexuals. Oh, I do, but I don't blame them. I blame us for allowing our culture to degenerate to the condition that it's in. And so it makes a lot of Christians uncomfortable because I said, hey, dude, look in the mirror. It's your fault, man. You don't blame that guy because he's a drug head.
Yeah,
he's a drug head because nobody taught him morality. Yeah. And why didn't anybody teach him morality?
Exactly. Coach Dave, I don't think your message is too seeker-friendly.
No, I'm trying to be.
Seeker-friendly is a mega church term.
Ministry's pass the salt, right? We're the salt of the earth, fellas. We ain't the sugar. I'm not the molasses. I had somebody say to me one time, Coach, you're going to catch a lot more flies with honey than you will with vinegar. I said, well, there's your problem, dude. I ain't looking for flies.
All right, Coach Dave. Well, I'll tell you what, it was a pleasure having you. Anybody else wants to check out Coach Dave, check him out at CoachDaveLive.com, and you can get to all of his stuff. Coach Dave, thanks for coming on the show, and we'll talk again soon. Have an early show to do. Take it easy. All right. Have a good one. Good night. Get to sleep. I know it's late your time, and you have an early show to do. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
And I am a girl.
You're a front hole bearer. Well, Tom, I think we just kind of let Dave take over our show for a while. That was kind of interesting.
Pretty much.
Who would have known that our show would have got so religious tonight?
Didn't expect
Did
that.
anybody else feel guilty? I was always waiting for Jack to go to the big shot of him where he was on the full screen before I drink my beer because I felt a little convicted. I'm sure Coach Dave wasn't. He's not a fan of alcohol.
So. Libations. Why not? They drink in the church.
There's definitely things that he said that he's on with, but
certain things.
Certain things. Yeah.
Certain things.
It's very minimal.
It's hard for guys like Dave or conservative Christians as a whole where the Bible teaches. You can't go into the Bible and say, oh no, the Bible says homosexuality is okay, because it doesn't say that. So it's hard for guys like that to communicate in today's society when they're coming strictly against the homosexual point of view. But see, for me, I like to focus on the parts of the Bible where, Jesus was teaching to love everybody. I like to focus on the points that we're all saved by grace, that we all have something imperfect in our lives, no matter who you are, what you do. I think the point of the New Testament was to explain that not everybody is perfect. Yep. Everybody sins, and the only way, if you accept the Bible for what it is, and the only way to accept that forgiveness is by grace, because none of us are perfect. And I think sometimes people start focusing.
Speak for yourself.
I think sometimes people in the religious community like to focus on specific sins. And the thing is it's cheating on your taxes is a sin. Sneaking candy into the movie theater is a sin. Speeding down the road and not obeying the laws is a sin. It's all sin, and it's all forgivable
sin,
by
though?
God.
No, that's not sin.
No, the Bible tells you to obey the laws of your country. Speeding is a sin.
I would associate when they say the laws of the land, they're talking about God's laws, not just the government, because the government puts. I mean, come on now, you can't walk across the street if there's no fucking stop sign. Yeah, like come on, there's shit like that. Like God really gives a shit about jaywalking.
Well,
I doubt it. Yeah, so there's rules, and I mean there's limits to it. You know what I mean?
But I think Coach Dave, I think he felt a little bad that he was singled out and got notoriety for his one claim of the masturbation means you're gay. But I see where I mean logically I see where he's coming from. I'm not saying I agree 100%. Brandon, your mic's off. I got it muted here. What were you saying, Brandon?
No, I was just going off what Stefan was saying. There were several instances, Daniel, for instance, where I
would like to know. Put up a poll. I know in the new Facebook Live and stuff we can put up polls to our audience. I would like to know how many people are religious and how many people are not. I think there's an option as our user we can put a poll in the comments. Maybe not. Maybe I'm trying to press the thing.
That's always been a difficult question for me, because I don't consider myself religious. Right. I think
do you consider yourself spiritual?
Spiritual.
Do you think there's an afterlife?
I believe that it's a possibility, and I don't really know. This is my thing. I don't think you have to be religious to be kind to the person next to you. I don't think you have to be religious to want to help people around you, to be nice and to be loving and to, like that sort of thing to me doesn't require any type of religion. And I have a hard time believing that the God that everybody believes in is such a fucking horrible person or horrible guy, you know what I mean? Because you have all this stuff going on, these floods and tsunamis and all this weird shit, and then you have this shit like the birth of a child, which is an absolutely beautiful and wonderful thing. How do you have an all-knowing being that could allow all these horrible things to happen to good people, you know what I mean? Like Job, for example. I know they use that in the Bible. That's a big thing. They right. brought Job all the way to the edge. Yeah, all the way to the edge. Boils, and they took his family away and all his money and all this other shit to bring him closer to God. And all the time he was this fucking great guy. Like, why the trials of Job with somebody who's already on your team? You know what I mean? Like, what's the purpose? What do you get from...
I don't know. I'm not a trained minister. Hey, Brandon, you were a priest in the Mormon Church. Oh, is the Mormon Church the one that believes in UFOs are going to take them off this planet, or is that Scientologists? I know it's one of the wacky ones.
Scientology.
Where did Brandon go? He's out there? Yeah. So why does God put bad shit on good people? That's the question. You were like Mormon priesthood kind of stuff, which is, I know you believe some weird shit. You want a bunch of wives, but
we have the right of freedom of choice, and so God, gives us blessings for when we make good choices, and he punishes us whenever we harm others and we don't follow his commandments. I mean, that's generally it. He loves us enough to be able to make our own choice.
Yeah, but that's not always true, because a lot of bad stuff happens to good people all the time.
Right, but they are rewarded in that they've been saved. And they are going to be able to... Now, V, I saw you walking up about 20 times during Coach Dave. Steph was giving you the eyes to be quiet.
I got the shut the fuck up look.
Yeah, okay. Well, as a
while he was on the show, I didn't want to get into that debate.
I didn't. So did I. I could not even handle this.
As a front hole bearer, what is your opinion?
Well, we all have front holes.
I think he's a hypocrite. I think he preaches hatred.
He said he doesn't hate. If his son was gay,
that he doesn't, but he is the most angry Christian I've ever heard.
I think he's passionate.
Ever?
Did you really think he was angry? I think he's just passionate. He wants to be heard.
You know what? I'm about energy, and his energy scared the fuck out of me that there's people in this world that are like this. I'm petrified for my grandchild coming. I'm petrified for my daughter, who is a minority, to be pressured to put her kid into these schools and for religious, that she's going to look down upon because of whatever she chooses if she's not a Christian. I don't believe in that. I believe people should be able to choose whatever they want to believe because it's based upon faith. And he's mad at people, or whatever you want to call it, because people are teaching kids about sex or homosexuality, I do agree it should come from home.
Yep.
But him going on and being angry and hate, that's not a Christian to
My
me.
thing is, what about other religions?
Well, I tried
basis-
asking Dave about that.
Would you agree that the basis of the majority of the religions that are in this world are more about love than hatred?
I think that's true.
Okay. So there's more than one way to get to quote unquote heaven then. Why does it have to be just God? Why not through some other religion that teaches you the exact same thing?
Because from a
says
Christian
differently.
Because
just a
from a
different God.
Christian point of view, the only path is through redemption through Christ. And there was a comment,
But that's from a narrow view.
That's just from Christianity. What about the Muslims, and what about the Buddhists, and what about all the other religions out here that have been here way longer than Christianity?
What about the
has?
largest growing segment right now? Atheism, which is what I adhere to. Which is
Oh,
technically-
Jack, quit coming in here and screwing with the game. I saw you reaching for the microphone a lot, but you almost would say something to Coach Dave, and then you backed off a little bit.
The reason I backed off was we promised him we were not going to gang up on him, and so
We didn't even speak.
Well, we had two of our hosts that I think were they were doing a good enough job that I did not need to jump in to give an opposition viewpoint. And then we also had our other executive producer, and we also had Mike.
Well, and I think Dave. I think Dave, when he's talking to us, I think he thinks we're these leftist radio people from L.A., from California, and stuff like that. And I didn't even push the fact that I go to church every Sunday. I've been raised in church, and I have my beliefs that I adhere to. But I believe, yes, I've mentioned that a few times, but I believe in sticking to the love of things. And I know I'm not perfect. Anybody that's ever listened to the show knows I'm not perfect by any means. But I believe in loving everybody. It's not my problem if you're gay, if you're whatever. I don't care. That's not me.
That all you want. But that's not what he's talking about. He is talking about particularly that the government itself, actually, he believes that there should be no public schools, but he believes that we should be going on a basis of Christianity. I find that wrong as a person that I used to be of the faith. I'm no longer of the faith. I don't want to raise my children to be of.
What about the band Faith No More?
I don't know who they are, but the way you brought that up, I'm guessing they're probably not so good.
But he also compared. But he also
now.
he compared homosexuality like it's a disease.
Like a mental disorder. That's
and
exactly what he treated it like.
And that's the problem I had with that. Is he treated it like it was something that needed to be fixed.
Yeah, and
I don't want to say my biggest issue with the church as a whole, and it's frustrating for me. And I believe this Dave, Coach Dave. I believe he has a good heart, and I believe that he really wants. He just comes across the wrapper that he's wrapped in. It's like when you break it down on paper,
different language.
When you break it down on Coach Dave's beliefs and my beliefs, probably 80% of it lines up that we believe the same way about these certain issues. The problem that I have is his wrapper and how he comes across with it in this, in what V is saying, the energy, in this angry way,
The way he
focusing
comes
on
across.
homosexuality and focusing on. I don't focus on that stuff. But
how can it ever be a problem with two human beings loving each other, regardless of the sex, regardless of what they carry in their pants?
I wanted to ask him if anal sex with your wife is wrong.
Apparently it was. I'm assuming sodomy
I'm pretty
was
sure he
a
would
no-go.
say. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a
Well,
no-go.
he made a comment saying like the only reason to have sex was to
Procreate.
Procreate, yeah.
So basically, he's old, so he don't have sex no more.
No, I
People
don't think
have
that's
a lot
true.
of sex.
Huh?
Yeah.
But don't.
Fuck ton of sex.
Yeah, but then,
But no,
but for the
but
purpose
then
of
for the
procreating.
yeah,
No,
exactly.
he didn't say that the only purpose of sex. He says
Yeah,
the main
in fact, he said
purpose
he
of
loves
sex was.
sex.
Yeah, he said he loves sex. He didn't say that you only have sex to procreate. He
Now,
didn't
I'm not-
say that. Don't put that in his mouth.
No, I'm not saying that there weren't things that he said that I agreed with. I think like the church today is a mess. A lot of religions.
I
are
think
a mess.
society is a mess.
I think
Agreed.
The society as a whole is a mess. The country is a mess.
Just because we don't fuck our kids up anymore.
But I don't think it.
I agree with that too.
But I also
true
don't
word.
think it starts with the church. It starts right here at home.
At home.
At home.
And that's one of the things I was trying to tell
Agreed.
Coach Dave. I mean, I agree that taking prayer out of schools, taking the Ten Commandments down like a moral code, a moral standard, that doesn't help the situation. It doesn't help. But that's a small part. Because there's people that can go, if you have a strong foundation at home with your kids, whether you're Christian or whatever, you can send them to the school of Satan. And if your foundation is strong enough at home, it will survive the test of time. What happened was, what I believe what happened is you start having these latchkey kids with no parents at home at all. You know, you have a mother and a father that are gone 24/7, and there's nobody there really raising the kids. Mom and dad get home, they've just worked 10 hours and they got stuck in traffic. They come home, they are not taking the time to raise their kids, and it's basically, Jimmy, just do your fucking homework, eat dinner, and get your fucking ass to bed. There's no raising of kids these days, and so now in today's society, everybody relies completely on the school system to raise their kids because parents aren't around to do it,
or grandparents,
or grandparents.
And when the parents get frustrated, they just go, "Here, take this, watch a movie." There's no the family values are gone.
My argument is this: Christianity has nothing to do with the fact that parenting in America today is fucking dead.
Oh, it's all
Well, you sign your kids up, you put them in the system, and whatever that system teaches them, that's what you got.
That's what they learn. Yeah.
Because parenting at home, it doesn't exist anymore. Well, it's very rare occasions where you find a home where the dad works and you got a stay-at-home mom that actually is there with the kids, and the dad that gets off at 4 o'clock and they actually parent the kids. It just doesn't happen.
So, speaking of Satanism in particular.
Oh, God. Here we go.
So we brought up the Ten Commandments, which, by the way, was not installed into government buildings to 1950s.
Okay, go ahead, Jack.
So, anyway, so the Christians have the Ten Commandments, right? Well, Satanists, particularly those that follow the Church of Satan.
Oh, here we go with the shtick.
By the way, it's an atheist organization. They have the 11 satanic rules of the earth.
I'm kind of curious to see what those are. The 11 satanic rules of the church. This is what you Googled, and this is your shtick that we're coming with.
I'm pretty sure number one is only anal.
Okay.
This is something, honestly, because I found this when I was in high school. And
do you have a graphic that you put on the screen so I can see it?
I can sort of try. Give me a second.
But how bad is it? I mean, is it total?
It's not bad at all. That's the thing. This is a true morality code.
While he's bringing this up, we also have like the Georgia Guidestones, which is a form of morality that's supposed to stand the test of the apocalypse. But what Seth was talking about earlier, like the limitations of following the laws in the Bible, there were several instances where the prophets and the people that were called from God were forced to choose between their beliefs and to pray or to follow the laws of the man at the time, to say they couldn't pray. And they always followed the law of God over the law of man. Always.
And he talked about, morality, and he talked about morality not being taught at schools. How do you teach morality at schools when you don't teach it at home? If it's not taught at home, they're not gonna give a shit when they're in school. That's why most kids don't give a shit when they're in school, because they don't have to listen. They don't listen at home. Why are they going to listen in school? There's no authority. Parents don't have authority. The teachers have far less authority. They have a tougher job than the parents do. They're basically babysitting assholes for 6 hours. Not all of them. There are kids that are truly there to learn, and they want to be in school, and they do good, and they turn out great. But there's a lot of kids there that just don't want to be there. They just have to go because that's what their parents make them do. Till they don't have to do it, and then they fail.
I think he's got the.
All right, Jack, go ahead with your. All right, hold on. Let me read these. Okay, well, why are we read? Okay, the 11 satanic rules of the earth. Okay, so this is the satanic. Number 1: do not give opinions or advice unless you are asked. Well, I'm kind of.
Okay.
Okay, but okay. Number 2: do not tell your troubles to others unless you are sure they want to hear them.
I agree
with that, too.
I agree with that.
I'm sick of people telling me their shit, and I really don't give a crap.
Fuck your couch.
Amen to that one.
Number 3.
Just kidding.
When in another's lair, show them respect, or else do not go there. When in another's home, show them respect. Okay, all right.
That.
If a guest in your lair annoys you, treat them cruelly and without mercy. Okay, now this is where the Satanism starts taking off right there.
All right.
Crazy.
Well, okay.
Basically, if they're disrespecting you in your home,
disrespect them back. Okay, well, I'm not going to go with that one.
Back.
Instead of kicking them out, you're supposed to fuck their shit up.
Number 5, do not make sexual advances unless you're given the mating signal.
What is the mating signal?
That was my question. But I'm down for don't make sexual advances unless it's welcome. But Jack, what is the definition of a mating signal? No, we don't have anything.
Are given the mating signal. Keep in mind that the Church of Satan in particular they were artists, so they can play with words. In particular, this itself was written by Anton Szandor LaVey, and when he's saying the mating signal, I think he was trying to be a little bit funny, but because there's a lot of satire in the Book of Satan.
Okay, now number 6, do not take that which does not belong to you unless it is a burden to the other person and they cry out to be relieved. Don't steal.
Unless you're Robin Hood.
Yeah. Number 7, acknowledge the power of magic. Okay, acknowledge the power of magic. If you have employed it successfully to obtain your desires. If you deny the power of magic after having called upon it with success, you will lose all you have obtained. Okay, that's just like World of Warcraft bullshit right there.
Term at this point.
It's like the craft.
Do not complain about anything to which you need not subject yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Do not harm little children. Okay.
All right.
I would have thought that wasn't too much of a Satanist view. I thought they were like sacrificing little virgins and stuff. Do not kill non-human animals unless you are attacked or for your food. Okay. When walking in open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask them to stop. If they do not stop, destroy them. Oh, that's where the Satanism comes back into it.
What's the footnote on 113? I'm a little curious about what that...
Oh, wait, that's not how I click on it. Hold on.
Well, I was expecting a little bit worse there, but I guess not. Okay, we don't have to watch you
I'm just
Google,
curious.
Jack.
Yeah, I was curious.
Anyways, interesting show, huh, Tom?
I mean, like I said, he's an intense guy. He's definitely a football coach for sure.
Oh, dude, he could make any team win. Dude, that's the kind of coach I want to coach my kids, though. I mean, that guy is intense.
Yes.
I just saw that there was a school over in.
But I hope he ain't gay.
Where did I see that? There was some school that was just in the paper, and they in their first 2 games they lost by like 90 points. Brandon, you read that story because I saw you comment on it.
I was like 120 points.
It was
120 points in the first 2 games, and so the school board, the powers that be, came in and voted to kill the football team.
That's terrible.
And I thought that was terrible.
That's terrible.
I thought that was terrible. Yeah, so
That's
what? They got their
teaching
butts
their-
kicked. You guys set goals. You got to get that first point, that first
You have to
touchdown.
teach
You know,
them
the
how
first
to
win.
deal with loss.
Yeah.
So that they know what winning is.
guarantee you, Coach Dave would get that team to make at least 1 touchdown sometime in that season and
Probably
get some
right.
goals.
But
Yeah.
you gotta learn how to lose to appreciate winning.
All I know is that seems like a huge black hole in the budget, 120 to nothing. I don't know.
Speaking of black holes, how come why did I get black lager and everybody else got good
I
shit?
know you got another one right there.
Coffee and fucking pumpkin ale, and I get black
Yeah,
lager.
I don't, Steph, I don't think
here's some Boston Lager for you.
I don't think Coach Dave was a big fan of your viewpoints.
No.
No.
It's because it was too close to correct.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is whenever we're talking to these guests on the phone, they know that they're talking to a panel of 4 people, but the opinion of the whole panel is a collective opinion. Right. No matter who we're talking to, it always works that way. So if Steph says something that pisses him off, he's pissed off at all of us. It doesn't matter what my thoughts are. It really goes that way. Well, I don't know. Geez, how long have we been going, Jack? What time is it?
An hour and 47 now.
I think we were going to recap the LA Fair and Aaron jumping to his death and Vanessa eating crickets and stuff, which was
God tends
hilarious.
to do that. Wow.
The word.
No. I'll tell you what. The video of you.
I can't believe you taped me.
I taped you the whole time, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Hey, give V the mic real quick. In that video, now for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, just go to Radio Underland. You'll see a picture of Vanessa trying to eat a cricket,
Lord.
and she was crying the whole time. But then there's this random old white leather-faced lady.
All up in my neck, breathing hard, and that's why I was just like,
She
who
was
is this
nice,
person?
though. She was nice.
She was nice, but
You
she was
were
touching
fucked
your.
up.
They were just
she
a
was
random
drunk,
old drunk.
dripping,
She was nice.
spitting at me.
Okay, well, that's what
It was
happens to people when they
disgusting.
get loaded. You know, they get close.
And she was
Well, she
touching
had
your
a-
face, trying to jam
you
the
see her
cricket back
touching
in.
me?
Oh yeah, I had the
All
microphone
over
right
juice
there
and everything.
Oh.
Yes, I was
I
disturbed.
don't even know where she came from.
They just rolled up when they heard us talking about bugs.
Eating the bugs, yeah.
Eating
The
the bugs.
boyfriend first.
Yeah.
You
And then-
should play it.
Play what? Oh,
What?
you know what? I've got to edit. Hold on, let me see.
Really?
Where did I put that at? You guys talk for a second. Let me see
She
if I
was
can
the
find it.
cardboard lady. Why was she saying something like?
I don't know. I just heard a voice, and I'm just like, you can see my face going like, who the fuck is this?
So did you see the whole world is burning their Nikes today?
Yep.
Yeah, I
the
did see that.
Stupidest thing ever.
Nike does not give a shit that you are burning your shit.
No, you already
already
bought
You
it.
already paid for it, you dumbasses.
That's it. Why is everybody so angry though?
Because they used Colin Kaepernick for an ad.
Why?
I don't know.
Like, why would you burn something that you spent your hard-earned money on? Why would you cut?
Well, like
Nike
somebody said,
strips out of
if
your
you don't
socks?
want to wear it, give it to a homeless guy. Give it to a homeless veteran. Why are you going to destroy it? Why do you
No
got to
way.
destroy
Like,
it?
why would you destroy? Give it to a homeless person.
That's what I see. Yeah.
It's too much like the right thing to do. That's why.
Yeah, but instead they rather burn it just to make a point.
It's so silly. But
Like
the point's
Nike-
not even being made.
Yeah,
Nike don't give a shit.
Nike's not going to fail because they went with Colin Kaepernick.
Okay,
I think it was awesome, and I, like
think
the
we got to
statement.
show. I think we got to show Vanessa trying to eat these crickets. Okay, here's the
Thanks,
video.
Jake.
Jack, put up my computer.
All right, so right now we have Miss. What kind of bugs do we have?
We have pizza super worms,
Sounds good.
smoky barbecue crickets, and we have honey mustard crickets.
All right, so who's going to eat some bugs? Aaron's going to do it. Angel's going to do it. Eddie's going to do it. Oh, that's a fucking worm. It sure is. V, are you going to try anything?
No.
It's your turn.
I'm not
Fuck that shit. I did it.
Try one, V.
No.
It has no flavor.
No. I can't.
There she is, the random old white lady.
Close your
This is 7 grams of protein.
Close your eyes.
It's like Indiana Jones.
Come on and eat it. Stop being silly. Stop being silly.
It's a chip. It's a chip. It's a chip. It's a chip.
I can't.
No, it's a chip.
Other side.
It's a chip. It's a chip. I already put it in my mouth. I don't want to do it. I'm going to start to cry. It's in here.
Silly.
Don't look at it. Just chew on it. It's cardboard. It's cardboard. It just
Head off.
has no flavor. It has no flavor. Come on.
I took the head off.
Cardboard. It's cardboard. Just close your mouth.
I can't.
Garrett, we're here right now. There's a bunch of Chevy cars. Everybody's looking at them. I have a job for you.
What's up?
I want you to go to all the rear doors. Everybody's getting in and out of these cars. I want you to set the child safety locks. We're going to catch people like they're mice.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Ciao.
Right here. There should be a child safety lock. There you go. Lock it. Okay. Get the other side. All right, let's get this car over here. Right here. This one, the door's open. Other side. Have a guy sit back and try and catch somebody. Oh, Garrett, there's a guy in this car. Do you think you can open up the door, flip it, and then shut the door? There's a guy in the back seat.
What just happened?
There was a guy sitting in the back seat. Garrett opens the door, puts the child safety lock, and shuts the door back. All right. He got pissed.
All right, so that's basically what happened at the fair. Nothing to see here. Move on. Okay, so hey, you know, Brandon, do you think we'll ever have Coach Dave back on the show if there's ever anything that's like religious and political in the news?
I hope so.
Hold on, your mic's not on.
You know, if we bring Coach back, we should bring an atheist on the show. Like
Well,
a very
Jack was here.
No,
Have a debate.
no, somebody who doesn't. There's no backlash. Jack's gonna have backlash for that. Bring
What?
somebody. What?
What do you mean I'm going to have backlash?
What?
For having a philosophical viewpoint?
Yeah, well, and then also having, you're gonna have to deal with that shit and talk to the fucking guy at the same time.
You got a point. Well, I don't deal with those people. I talk to you guys.
Okay. Well, I think we can wrap up the show. We didn't hit any news at all or anything. What, Brandon?
Well, what about Aaron? Can you play a clip of him jumping to his? Can we go out with that? And I do have one announcement too. I believe we're going to have a barbecue in Santa Barbara on the 23rd. We have a special guest that's going to come out and talk about supporting the LDF, and so I'll have some more information about that this weekend.
Do we really want to go out with Brandon jumping to his death? It was just, Aaron. It was just, we were sitting around drinking beers, and Aaron was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll do it if you guys pay for it." So we paid for it, made him jump. But I think it was kind of anticlimactic. I mean, anybody can jump off of a.
I thought he passed out.
Oh, so some people actually freaked out and didn't do it.
I thought you passed out.
I kind of did a little bit.
I'm looking for the. Hold on, there's a page. I'm trying to find the video. I think most of the people that are listening to the show, unless they're listening to the podcast, they've already seen the video on the actually Facebook group or whatever.
You can always go search for Radio Underland. I'm already failing, aren't I?
Yes, you're failing miserably.
Now imagine what you would do with a conversation as an atheist with the coach.
Point taken.
Oh, I found it. Here, Jack, put up my computer one more time. Hold on.
It looked like he blacked out.
Yeah, I thought so.
All I know is that I saw him spinning, and he took it like a G. That's all I know.
The best part was
Aaron,
when
you're here right now. How afraid of heights are you?
I can't look straight down, which is what I was trying not to do when I was up on the crane.
So
I was looking forward the entire time.
I was sitting on the other side of the gate when they were strapping him up and getting him ready and putting on the harness.
Jack,
and all that
put up my
shit.
screen. I'll play it while we're talking about it.
See if you can go live.
So you're afraid of heights, and you went on the least unsafe product.
No,
in the
Kearney's
entire
put it together.
fair.
I'm sure it was safe. Safer than Disney rides. Oh, I didn't say that out loud. Well, sorry, love you, Disney. No, I would never trust anything that a freaking carnival guy put together.
I don't know, man. I gotta say.
But there's Aaron in the booth. He's going up 130 feet.
Yeah, it was like one of those things you just drink and you're like, it's one of those like hold my beer moments, you know?
Yeah, and you were a little intoxicated at the time, weren't you?
I said least unsafe. I meant least safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about halfway, I couldn't look down anymore.
Oh, I guarantee you he's scared. We're going to a different angle so we can watch him.
I had fun at the fair. Jack, you would have had fun at the fair if you went.
I see a lot of sun right there.
It wasn't even hot.
Ah, it was nice.
No, it was nice.
All right, he's up there.
Right there, I'm asking him questions like, is there a right or wrong way to fall?
Poor thing. He's so crazy.
Well, he's just like, just hold on side by side and then just let go. Right there, I kind of
thought he was passed out.
There. And that first
I'm pretty
whiplash,
sure he already passed out.
my back kind of popped a little bit. Well, I was looking up the entire time so I could just see sky, so I wouldn't get too dizzy.
How did you keep your shirt from going up?
No, that was strapped down too.
Oh, it was strapped down too.
Yeah. Look how white my legs are, though.
Oh, easy now. Would you do it again, Aaron?
No.
No. You wouldn't do it off of anything higher, like a bridge or anything like that?
No, that's off my checklist now.
All right. Okay. Well, that was fun. Good times. We had a, interesting show tonight. Hey, I noticed that Coach Dave, he had some of his listeners listening to us tonight.
Oh, yeah.
They were in there.
I hope they check out some of our old shows. Like the dating show would be a good one. We get very evangelistic on the dating show.
Speaking of the dating show, aren't we having one again
We
soon?
allegedly were supposed to. I'll tell you what. Okay, for everybody that's listening right now, I know it's late at night, everybody's going to bed, but we need a male and a female outside of the social club scene that doesn't know all the people that we know. We need two contestants, a male and a female.
Randos.
Randoms, get them in here to be our bachelor and bachelorette, and we'll have some fun. So if you're listening and you have somebody that fits that description, somebody that's up for having a good time, hit them up, let us know, and we will bring them down here for a dating show. And we're going to have to move stuff around in here because we're not really set up to have it. We don't have the room like we did in the living room to make it happen, but
that's a project
that's a project in itself. So anyways, I think that's it for tonight. Jack, anything else that we need to talk about? Jack's ignoring me.
I personally am endorsing, as well as the show is endorsing, Brandon Morse for Santa Barbara City College Board of Trustees.
Yes, we do endorse Brandon Morse.
I personally,
Santa Barbara.
Only as Brandy, though.
Only as Brandy.
No, Brandon.
No,
you have to take the full,
Brandy.
the whole caboose.
Hashtag Brandon likes front holes.
We should have showed that picture
It's an
to
honor,
the
my
coach
brother.
to see how
Thank
you
you.
felt about that.
I love you guys.
All right, everybody. It's been a fun time. We'll talk to you. We'll see you next week, right?
Good night. Yes.
All right, later.
Good night.
I still remember in the